In a quiet, fog-shrouded village nestled between towering mountains, there lived a young artist named Ilara. She was no ordinary painter. Ilara had a rare and magical gift she could see and paint the souls of those she met. Her talent brought her great admiration from the villagers who would often sit for portraits. But these were not mere likenesses of their faces. Each painting captured their deepest emotions, their hidden desires, and even their buried fears. As Ilara's brush glided over the canvas, she could feel the essence of her subjects flowing into the colors: warmth, sorrow, joy, and sometimes a shadow of something darker. One autumn afternoon, as Ilara sat in her studio gazing at the amber light streaming through the window, an old woman entered, her figure cloaked in a heavy, dark robe. The woman's face was hidden under the hood, but her voice was soft, almost pleading. "Please, child," the woman said, "I have come a long way. I need you to paint my soul." Ilara hesitated. Something about the old woman sent a chill through her, but her curiosity overpowered her caution. She nodded and gestured toward the chair by the window. The woman sat down slowly, and as she did, Ilara felt an oppressive weight settle in the room. As Ilara began to paint, her usual process of seeing into someone's soul was different. Instead of the usual flow of emotions and colors, she felt a heavy fog obscuring her vision. The woman's soul was tangled in an overwhelming storm of sadness, anger, and regret. Ilara's hand trembled as she painted. Every stroke felt like pulling something dark from deep within the woman's spirit. Finally, after what felt like hours, Ilara finished the painting. She stepped back and gazed at her work, her heart pounding in her chest. The painting was unlike anything she had ever created. The old woman's face was there, but it was twisted, distorted, with dark tendrils swirling around her like smoke. Her eyes' deep, hollow pits seemed to pierce through the canvas, full of anguish and something far more sinister. Ilara turned to the old woman, expecting her to recoil in horror. But instead, the woman smiled, a thin, crooked smile that chilled Ilara to the bone. "I see," the woman whispered, rising from the chair with a slow, deliberate movement. "You have painted my truth. But in doing so, you have seen more than you should." Before Ilara could react, the room grew colder, and the shadows in the corners seemed to stretch and reach for her. The old woman's form began to shift, her cloak turning into a swirling mass of darkness. The air grew thick with the scent of damp earth, and a strange pressure built up around Ilara, as if the walls were closing in. "You've painted more than a soul, child," the woman said, her voice now echoing with an eerie resonance. "You've touched a curse that has been hidden for centuries." Ilara stepped back, her heart racing. She could feel it now, the curse. It had been dormant within the old woman, concealed beneath layers of regret and sorrow. But by painting her soul, Ilara had unknowingly unlocked it. The dark tendrils from the painting began to slither off the canvas, creeping toward her. Panic surged through Ilara. She grabbed her paintbrush as if it could protect her. The woman, now a swirling figure of shadow and malice, advanced slowly. "You can't run," the woman whispered. "The curse is bound to you now, just as it was bound to me." Ilara's mind raced. She had to act fast. If she had released the curse through painting, perhaps she could contain it the same way. She glanced at her palette, her paints shimmering with potential. With trembling hands, she dipped her brush in the brightest, purest color she could find, golden yellow, the color of hope, and began painting over the dark tendrils that had emerged from the canvas. The moment her brush touched the shadowy tendrils, they hissed and recoiled, retreating back into the canvas. Ilara's heart pounded as she worked frantically, layering strokes of light and color over the darkness. The old woman screeched, her shadowy form thrashing violently, but Ilara did not stop. She poured everything she had into the painting, her strength, her fear, and her hope that light could overpower the curse. As she painted, the room slowly began to brighten. The heavy fog lifted, the shadows retreated, and the warmth of the autumn sun returned. Finally, with one last stroke, Ilara sealed the painting with a brilliant flash of light. The room fell silent. The old woman's form had vanished, leaving only the painting behind, a swirling vortex of dark and light, trapped within the canvas. Ilara collapsed into her chair, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She stared at the painting, now glowing softly with the light she had infused into it. The curse was contained, but Ilara knew it was not gone. The painting had become a prison for the darkness that once consumed the old woman's soul. From that day forward, Ilara kept the painting hidden, locked away in her studio, never to be seen by anyone else. She had learned that the power to see and paint souls was not just a gift, it was a responsibility. And some souls were too dangerous to be revealed. As the seasons passed, Ilara continued to paint, but with a newfound caution. She would never again paint without understanding the secrets that might lie beneath the surface of her subjects' souls. The painting of the cursed woman remained a silent reminder in the corner of her studio of the darkness she had faced and the light she had chosen to wield.